Hi guys, today we are gonna keep talking about our pricing strategy, and specifically we are gonna talk about multi-calendar and the rule sets. This is probably one of the most important videos in the entire training. So at this point you should have already watched pricing and availability video, and you should have also watched Beyond Pricing, our dynamic pricing software video. So you should have those already implemented. So this is really a last piece. Multi-calendar and the rule sets are the last piece in our pricing strategy. To give a high-level overview of our pricing strategy, what we're doing is we are using dynamic pricing software to help us dynamically change prices. It also gives some seasonality to the prices, and it has lots of data. Then we manually try to crank up the prices just a little bit, maybe like 15-20%. And then we apply discounts on those manually increased prices, starting from a day 3 or day 4 going forwards, so that it creates an impression that the guest booking the apartment is getting a discount, plus it discourages the short-term stays. All of this, we also need to know how to manage our multi-calendar and how to use our rule sets. Let's dive into our multi-calendar. So first of all, what is a multi-calendar? Multi-calendar is a view of the calendar where you can see multiple listings listed below each other. So usually if you have only one listing, only one calendar shows up that looks something like this. If you have only one listing, the calendar shows as you can see on my screen, but it's much easier to deal with a multi-calendar. So compared to the single calendar, multi-calendar lets you edit multiple prices for the multiple listings. It also gives you a better view and you have a better understanding of your prices. Now, what are the rule sets? You can see this right window on the side of the screen. Rule sets are basically a tool that helps you give custom discounts. It also has ability to customly increase the prices, but we are mostly gonna use it for custom discounts. I have already all my rule sets set up. What I do with my rule sets is following. I have usually 8 different rule sets assigned to different colors. So when you're trying to create a rule set, there is 8 different colors, and I have a rule set for each one of these colors. This is minus 20%, minus 15, minus 10, minus 5, up 10, up 15, and up 20. So those are the only rule sets that I use. So if I were to make a new one, it would be like nightly price and minus 20% decrease. So I already have this rule set, but this is only thing that I would use. There's many other things that you can do with the rule sets: lengths of stay, last minute discounts, early bird discounts, many other functionalities. But if you're interested into those functionalities, there is multiple workshops and even courses and trainings on the rule sets, but you really don't need any of that stuff. What I'm gonna show you works perfectly fine for me. It's very simple approach and it's sufficient to manage your calendar well. So you only basically need 8 different rule sets, uh, from minus 20% to plus 20% with the 5% increments. So you can see they are already set up in this account: up 20, up 15, 15% nightly price increase, all the way to down 20 and down 15, 10, 5. So this 10 rule sets, only changing price by certain percentage is only thing that I use. I don't think you need anything else. You don't need to make anything more complicated. In most cases, keeping it simple is the best outcome. So you can see that our calendar is pretty full. You can see on the screen that our average occupancy is 97.66%, which is pretty high for Airbnb. Um, some might argue that we should increase our prices and run at lower occupancy, but we are pretty happy with our pricing. This gives us really advantage in a low season. In a low season, right now is February, January, February. It's super low season. People have almost empty listings, but from our multi-calendar, you can see that we still get the bookings, and this is because of our pricing strategies, which we have been covering in our prior videos, and also in this video we're gonna get into more details about our pricing strategy. Back to our multi-calendar. By the way, one thing I should mention is the listing that we just opened is this last one. We already got it booked up until May. So we've been setting this up through this course. We've been setting up the last listing that is already booked up until the May. So I think you guys are bringing us pretty good luck. So thank you for that. So now let's just jump into it and talk about multi-calendar and specifically how do I use rule sets. So in this multi-calendar, the prices are fed from our Beyond pricing. So you can look at some of our pricings and you will see that they are dynamic. 45, 45, 48, 51, 52. This is all fed through the dynamic pricing software. This is the plus of the dynamic pricing software. But on top of that, we also want to have an easy way to apply custom discounts. So you can see there's different colors to different sets. This means that some of my rule sets are applied. For example, if I press here, I can see that I have 15% down. So I have a custom discount, which I have easily applied 50% down. And then I have 50% down on this cell. And then here I have 10% down and I have a 15% down. To change all of this manually is lots of effort. Also, it should be said that if you're changing prices manually, they're restricted. And the good thing about rule sets is whatever custom discounts you apply, things still stay dynamic, right? So it's not frozen. The price is still dynamic. So if our dynamic pricing software decreases the price, then the price still goes down. So whatever dynamic pricing software suggests, we take that price and we apply additional discounts using rule sets. This way, everything still stays dynamic. There is no rigid prices, nothing is frozen, and everything changes on a daily basis. So this is what we are aiming at, not to have rigid prices, but dynamic changing prices, which are reflective of the market. Dynamic pricing software helps a lot, but on top of that, we can also apply additional discounts to our calendar to make sure that nothing stays empty, right? So here we have a 5-day gap. First, there were 5% discounts, then there were 10%. Now we are at the 15% discounts for these dates, hoping that it's gonna get booked. On top of that, they will also get a long stay discount. So there is additional around 20% a discount if they book for 5 days. So this is what we want. We wanna be able to have a dynamic pricing. Then we wanna have a long-term discount, and we also wanna have rule sets. So all of these discounts add on top of each other. On top of that, if we get up until 23, then we are gonna have a last minute discounts. So those will start kicking in as well. So this will get discounted additional 20%. So that way the price automatically can jump by 50% by only the automated setup. So that way the calendar will almost certainly get booked, right? This is how we are able to run at 97% occupancy. So you might say we don't want to drop our prices 50%, but half is better than nothing. So you would rather rent your place for half a price than keep it empty. At least that's our ideology, and that's what I teach my students. So now you have a pretty good understanding. We have dynamic pricing. We apply additional discounts if we want with the rule sets, or we could increase prices if we know that there is a peak season and our dynamic pricing software fits too low prices. We can manually increase the prices for certain days, adding up 10, up 15%, and so on and so forth, right? So you can decrease prices or increase prices. And then we have already set up last minute discounts. We have already set up lengths of stays discounts. So all of those discounts are also kicking in. It will take you some time to master everything, right? To get your pricing down, but this is not a complicated system. After all this automated software, things roll really smoothly. You don't really have to do much work. So You sometimes don't even have to touch anything. Maybe once a week, you quickly look at the prices. Everything else should flow automatically, as long as you have pretty good reviews and as long as you generally have a pretty good listings that rank highly in your Airbnb search. So let me talk to you a few instances where I apply discounts and what kind of discounts do I use. Usually, every time I get a booking, I apply 10% discount for the day after. So here you can see there's a booking, there's a 10% discount applied to the following day. I always do this. You can look at all of the listings here. All of them have minimum 10% discount, right? Right after here, I need to add 10% discount. This is because we want to show this date as a little bit cheaper, so it ranks higher in the search. This is for us to have bookings one after another, so there's no gaps. So we decrease the price right away with the 10% so that the bookings come after each other. So you can see here I had 10% down and person booked. It doesn't always work, but it works in most cases. So you can see that usually the bookings come one after another. Um, Another thing is I decrease the price prior. So this is same logic. So we want to decrease it minimum 10% the day before the booking. This is so that we don't have any days left blank. Think of it this way: if you have 1 day gap here, I have to discount this at least by 20% because otherwise this will not get booked. So anytime you get gaps, it's really hard to fill in those gaps. So in the end, you lose more value by not adding this 10% discount. And if you have gaps in your calendar, so you want to have consecutive bookings, you should apply 10% right after the booking and right before the booking. So you can see here, for example, there's a gap. The last day after is -10, and then the day before the new one is also -10. And gradually, this I still have a month to fill this in, like almost like not months, but like 3 weeks. But you can see that if today was 29th, I would be already adding discounts to these dates. Maybe I will be changing this to -15, and I will be adding 10% or 5% discounts to the dates in the middle. I always try to discount weekends less. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Usually, I try to apply less discounts, but weekdays, I'm usually pretty happy to discount them by 15 or even 20%. And you can see that in this action here, right? Since there's only 4 days left to fill this gap, I've switched from 10% discounts on the edges to 15% discounts on the edges and 10% in the center, right? So this way we drastically drop the price. So this way this will get filled. I'm hoping that over the next 2 days this will get filled. So same here. These gaps, we want to fill that in. This is a super low season because these listings are on a seaside. It's a winter time. There is no sea season right now, but the prices are already low, and I'm farther discounting the prices using a 5% discounts here, and then 10% on the edges. So this is how I usually manage my calendar. So you can look at all the future listings. This will need to be discounted by more than 10% because this is 1 day gap. So you can see that all of these ones, I need a 10% here. So this is pretty much all. Your calendar should look like ours. Basically, it should be full at all times, even in the low season. Again, as the blank days approach, you apply more and more discounts until you fill in the calendar. You always adjacent days, you always add minimum 10% discount to the adjacent days. This is pretty simple. That's pretty much all I do, nothing too complicated, but this has helped me keep the calendar at 95+% occupancy. And you can see we've missed a couple of days because it's super low season, but mostly it's full. The next thing I want to show you is after you've set all this up, you have a way of double checking your listing prices. And let's say you pick 1 month, like let's say we pick months of June, and we want to see what is the price that the client is going to see and what is the price that we are going to see. There's two ways to check this, and you should be checking this often, especially when you're setting up your pricing strategy. You should literally check every month in the future, and you should have an idea what kind of income do you want to get for each month, and make sure that after you've set up your dynamic pricing, after you've set up your pricing discounts, after you've set up all of your rule sets, you come out to the roughly the price that you have in mind um, for the specific months. And we usually do this for the monthly stays, and everything else kind of falls in line. So usually we get short-term stays, and then it means that we get a little bit higher income than one long monthly stay. Though monthly stays require much less turnover and much less work from you. So I don't know, it's a trade-off between money and your effort. Let's jump into the listing, and I'll show you how you can look at the price of for the certain months. The first thing you can do is you just can go to the preview of your listing on this corner here, and it will take you to Airbnb listing, and then you can literally see what the month looks like for the guest. I usually like to select 30-day months. So for the June, we would end on 1st. So this is 30 days. And after you select the dates, now you can see that this listing is at $1,425. This is one way of checking it, but this is how much the guest is gonna pay, but you still don't know how much you as a host will receive after all your fees. So if you wanna see how much you as a host will receive, there's another way to do this. You go to the listing, pricing and availability, and you go to this preview guest pay page. So you go here and you um, select the custom dates, and then you go to June. I need one more day from July. You can see 30 days, and you are gonna get $1,200 for this month. Basically, client is paying $1,425, which you can see here, and you are getting $2,121. When I'm setting up a new listing, I'm going and changing each month, and I'm looking at each month how much money am I receiving and how much does it cost for someone to book the apartment. And that way I adjust dynamic pricing, base price, and the minimum price, and then I apply rule sets on top of the dynamic pricing that we have. So this is how I manage the our pricing going forward in the future. So that's pretty much all. I try to keep things simple, and they are very simple because what I've just talked to you is the only thing that I really use. So once again, to go over it, we have a pricing and availability section where we apply long-term stay discounts. We apply last-minute discounts. We also have a dynamic pricing software beyond pricing that we have set up in such a way that it dynamically fits prices into our listing. And then after that, we add custom discounts using rule sets. Try this out, try this strategy, and see how it works. I see lots of people sometimes have just prices that have manually inputted, they don't have dynamic pricing, and then it just really I think that those people are leaving lots of money on the table. I think they're running at much lower occupancy rates than we are. So I encourage you to try our strategies. So it works. Also, give me a feedback. Let me know what works for you in the comments to the video, and then I'll incorporate your feedback into our future revisions to this video. Thank you very much. This is all I wanted to say in this video.